Hi, this is the Be Well with Michelle Greenwell podcast. Our heartwarming conversation is designed to lift you on your wellness journey. Grab your cup of tea and enjoy the podcast. Welcome everyone to another episode of Be Well with Dr. Michelle Greenwell. And today we are going to be exploring the pathways of healing through movement, energy, creativity, and connection by finding our voice and looking at the medicine we have within. Today's episode is a heartfelt invitation to rediscover something deeply personal and profoundly powerful, and that is your voice. Not just the voice we use to speak, but the voice that carries our truth, our story, our resonance, and our healing. And I'm so delighted to introduce our guest today, Karen Novy. Karen, thank you so much for being here.
I am thrilled to be here and spend time with you, Michelle.
Karen is a vocal empowerment coach. She's an NLP practitioner, an author, workshop facilitator who helps women reclaim their voice, help them to own their own story, and then step into their power. She blends creativity, neuroscience, and soul in a way that opens doors for transformation and self-expression. As a breast cancer survivor, Karen brings a deeply embodied understanding of healing, about resiliency and awakening. And her work reminds us that our voice is not just sound, it is medicine. Karen will be joining us as a guest facilitator for Marathon Jam's second annual Healing Through Music and Movement event, which is on April the 18th. And here she's going to be guiding participants into vocal explorations and authentic expression. So if that's something that is of interest to you, you can go to marathonjam.org and learn all about our event and how you can get registered to participate for something that is free. We're very excited to have that happening. Oh, and Karen, I look forward to meeting you in person and
Me too.
getting to explore all that you're going to be bringing to Marathon Jam. So to get us started so that our listeners on the podcast today have a healing session themselves, what have you got in your mug today that you can share?
You want to know literally what I have in my mug.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to make sure that wasn't a metaphorical question. Because I'm like, sometimes the mug is full, sometimes it's scraping the bottom. I have today chamomile and rose hips combination with a little bit of organic honey to kind of sweeten the pot. And it's warming and relaxing. And it's in one of my favorite cups given to me by a dear friend.
Beautiful. So she's holding up a mug that's got poppies on the side. That looks so beautiful. Excellent. Okay. And today, what I brought to the conversation is a tea actually that people would have to travel to Cape Breton Island to be able to get, because it's only available in 2 places on the island because it's a special blend. But I felt like it just went with what we were doing, and I wanted to give it a highlight. So this is called Sweet Memories. And this is for a beautiful gentleman who ran a little general store, and he took care of his whole community with greeting people, getting them the supplies they needed, and helping out with things around the community. And so this tea is for him. He lived in Craignish, and his daughter Peggy now runs the store as a studio store. So it has all kind of artisans in there. And Sweet Memories tea, which is a black tea with strawberry. So I'm going to give you a little bit of the background of that. And as you're listening, people, you may have water in front of you. You might have tea or coffee. But what I'm going to invite you to do is hold your mug, just like Karen was doing with hers, holding on to the warmth of that. And let that tea carry you with an essence of remembrance, a bit about our families, our lineage, how we're inspired by sweet memories. In this case, we have Peggy's memories of her father as he ran the general store. And this blend is an invitation for us to come into a space of connection where love, community, and story live on through our senses. With each sip, the strawberry is offering a gentle sweetness. It symbolizes love, heart energy and innocence of cherished moments. And spiritually, strawberry can carry the vibration of the heart chakra, inviting compassion, joy, and emotional nourishment. Paired with the black tea, rich and grounding, this brings strength and presence. It's often associated with clarity, courage, and resilience, which we've already talked about today, helping us feel rooted as we express ourselves. And this black tea reminds us to stand in our truth, feel supported in our voice, and to move forward with confidence. As you sip, allow yourself to connect into your own sweet memories today, to voices that may have shaped you, and to the voice that you have within you that is ready to be heard. And you may find yourself breaking out in song after listening to this podcast. And if that happens, we would be so thrilled. So thank you, Karen, for coming and being a part of the podcast today.
Absolutely. It's my great pleasure and honor.
I get this strawberry.
Cheers. Oh,
Is it? Yeah, it's right there. And I just feel like spring is right around the corner because those strawberries won't be long behind.
That's so true. And it's such an interesting combination. I've actually not had a black tea strawberry combination, and I'm looking forward to trying that however and whenever I can. But as you were speaking, I was thinking about you said strawberry, heart chakra, fourth chakra. The black tea, as you were describing, it felt very third chakra. And I was thinking how there's such a beautiful connection there between 3 and 4, and then also carrying it up to 5. It's just it's a good, strong connection.
So as people are listening, and if it's the first time you've listened to this podcast, then I always bring in the tea to highlight it, to highlight some of the herbs, and to give you an opportunity to focus in on what it is you might want to hear within the messages that we'll share today in the podcast, but also where you want to go. And it's an opportunity for you to sip away, listen to what we're saying, and the herbs are going to be able to lift you and carry you on that voyage. And so as we're thinking about strawberries, I know everybody pops a strawberry and it's just like a burst of flavor, but also summertime memories right away that pop in. And that's what we want you to be able to bring in is those joys. So let's get started with your story, Karen. And perhaps what we should do is start with your personal journey, because we want to know how did you find your voice, and then find out that, this was something that was going to give you great joy to be able to share with others. Can you share the beginning or towards the beginning?
I sure can. It's interesting because I've only recently, in the past, I say 5 to 8 years, discovered how much of my voice I actually had lost, buried, forgotten from as a small child. I was often misunderstood because I was highly sensitive. I just mentioned my sensory sensitivities a few minutes ago, and I was highly sensitive, and things, bright lights would bother me, and sounds. And I was the youngest of 4 kids in a household that, obviously it was fairly chaotic. And I felt often misunderstood. And there were moments when I was trying to communicate, who I am and what I desired and needed. And it just was so difficult for me. It's actually then I started writing music, writing songs, because I found that songwriting to me was twofold. It gave me a place to place my emotions and to verbalize through song and frequency what I was feeling and trying to express, number one. Number two, I didn't realize it as a very young child, but as I got into my teenage years and 20s, I realized that for me, the songwriting was sort of an act of a download, that would happen. And it gave me great comfort, and it was a great connection to the creative field of possibility, right? The big love, I like to call it. Everybody calls it something different, universe, source, God, goddess, whatever it is, like the something that is bigger than you, but that you are a part of, and that is a part of you. And so it was very healing and soothing for me, the process of songwriting. So I think I would say I discovered my songwriting voice first, and then decided, that I wanted to empower and access my voice a little bit better. But it wasn't until I was in my 40s when I was diagnosed with breast cancer that I realized I had been really suppressing my physical voice and my intuitive, my inner voice and wisdom for a very, very long time. And it showed up in my physical body. So as soon as I got the diagnosis, I mean, it took it took a few days, but it was pretty quick. I was like, got it. So I felt really quickly I got the message, and that the universe was sort of, enacting a little bit of an intervention because I wasn't listening for so long they knew exactly, the universe knew exactly what to do, how to get through to me. And as soon as that happened, I knew, one, I was going to be okay. I just knew, I felt that in my body and my heart. And two, I knew it meant I had some things to say and things to share. And that's when I started. And that was 10 years ago. I'm cancer-free 10 years now.
Wow. Beautiful. And I'm just thinking about the podcast I just finished with Lauren Wittig on the illness brain, and where you go into that hyper alert about doing all the right things, getting all the things, making sure you did everything that everybody said and research everything to the nth degree.
Ooh.
Right? But that opportunity to stop and go, okay, I heard you and I understand, and I have not been listening, and I'm ready to do that. That's another conversation, but that's also that calming piece that comes in. And I have to say this piece too. I have a student that I drive with to Tai Chi, and the way she's been talking to her body, she's really angry with it because it's failing her. It's not doing the things she's wanting it to do. And so she just gets angry at it. And it's like it's a separate entity. And being that opportunity, just with what you said, to be able to say, I am listening, I am one with you, rather than you're the body that's, it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. And I know better, so you need to start listening to me. But the other way around, you came into, I'm ready to listen to you. So
yeah. The body and the heart brain are so intertwined and so connected, and our intuitive knowing, our wisdom, our energy knows exactly what we need, and our body intelligence is so off the charts brilliant. So yeah, the coherence of those are super powerful and super important.
For the listeners, while you're thinking about this, you might want to think about which way you might be approaching your body and yourself, and the way that you speak to yourself, and the way that you're also going to be listening. And as we continue in this conversation, just if something comes to mind for you, just write it down, because then you may come back to it and you either had a realization, or you can address something because you didn't forget about it as something else came up, but you can start to bring that in.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be plenty of those opportunities, those moments where something one of us says or even just feels comes through and affects someone. And it's so important to listen, to really listen, like with your whole body. And so if something Michelle says, if you feel something in your body, like, tap into that, write down where you're feeling it, what it feels like, what it looks like, and tend to it when you have time.
And it can come out as a color. It can come out as a smell. Our senses can tell us a lot of different things. And sometimes we don't even realize those signals of how we do receive information. So just to be open to that. All of a sudden you smell roses. You smell the chamomile. That's important, because then you can do something with that.
Yeah,
okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, beautiful.
So if we look at your voice holding power, is there kind of a time where you realized all of a sudden you were in the power of your voice? That shift had happened.
Yes, it was. It was a few years coming along after my diagnosis and healing from surgery. I started getting these sort of nudges to lean a little bit more into working with people with their voices. And initially it was, as a singing coach, a vocal coach. And then it was a little bit more like I'm listening to people say, oh, I'm not a good singer, or I'm afraid to speak in front of people. And then I realized that it was more comprehensive than just singing, right? Singing is only one aspect of our incredible voice. A connection with our inner voice is important as well. And so teaching people how to regulate their nervous system to even get to the place where they can access that knowing and that information, because sometimes we really have a lot of interference going on, right? If the mind, the ego brain is active and holding us to what we have previously known or believed or held stories about, then it's sort of hard to get in there, So, and I find the voice is a direct way for people to clear energy and then access that beautiful innate wisdom that we all have.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I started doing that, and then during the pandemic shutdown, I decided to take a sound healing course. And it was the first one of its kind, to my knowledge, that was sound healing using your voice. And that's exactly what I was looking for. And I found it, not shockingly, pretty quickly, because the universe was like that way. And I took that course and got certified, and I just haven't looked back. I've just been sort of collaborating with people, facilitating with groups and individuals, and really just sort of tweaking the different modalities that I use sort of within that. And it's just, the feeling, I know this feeling, Michelle, is like when you're on purpose, when you're in your purpose and speaking truth from your highest purpose, there is a feeling. It's just magical. It's so to be in alignment and coherent with sort of, why, at least for this chapter, why you're here in this moment is a beautiful, beautiful thing. And just the closer and closer I got to that work, the more I felt like that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because your whole day flows with it.
Oh yeah. Time doesn't exist for sure.
No, it doesn't. It just completely disappears. It's so cool. Yeah. Again, absolutely. For the listeners, if there's some of these ideas, you haven't heard these before, when you find how to be in that flow, you just crave it. So you just keep navigating back to it. And sometimes it's studying different modalities. Sometimes it's playing with it. And, but it's once you experience it, you just want more of that. You find the joy in there.
And I think two really simple and maybe overlooked, I don't know, aspects, entry points for that is what brings you joy. Mm-hmm. Just get right on in there. What brings you joy? It could be something super simple. Experience the things that bring you joy, and you will find your way to that state. And the second way is gratitude, experiencing gratitude for the things that are in your life, for the blessings and the gifts that you have, the skills and talents that you have. Having gratitude is another entry point that's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So if we look at barriers to the voice, some people sing in the shower, and some people might sing in the car where it's hidden, right? Nobody else can hear them. Mm-hmm. But so many people are just really disconnected from their voice and even afraid to speak. So can you share a little bit about what might hold people back from expressing, and then maybe some of the ideas you have about taking those first little steps?
Sure. I'd be happy to. 10 out of 10 people that I have met, worked with, talked about voice in any capacity. They all have an issue. There's always something, whether it's, I get really nervous before public speaking and I sort of feel detached from my body, or it's, oh no, the third grade choir director said I don't know how to sing, and so I don't sing in front of people. Sometimes it's external, right? I mean, oftentimes, right, we're externally sort of conditioned to believe something about ourselves or our voice. And so that can definitely be it. However, what I'm going to say is your voice is your unique blueprint. It's like a frequency blueprint that only you have. Like your voice is your voice only. No one else has it. And so just on that criteria, it's magical. It's amazing. It's different. It's completely unique. So I encourage people to sort of get to the point where they can just understand that on a brain level, but also on a heart level, where they can say, "Oh, this is my frequency blueprint. This is how I express my inner world to the outer world. This is a gift, and look at how much I've harshly judged it my whole life." I think that we often become so judgmental of ourselves and our voices. We are our own, harshest critic for sure. And I think if people begin to notice when that little voice that is not your true inner voice, but is the critic and the judge, I think if we can notice that criticizing voice is not life affirming and is not actually even true and has come from somewhere else. It's not yours. It's not, you don't own that voice. That voice was imprinted for some reason. We can start to unpack that and rewrite those messages and those beliefs.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's so true that people, all of us have had that experience in music class where you were graded for something, and then that just takes you on a voyage of, I'm never going to sing again, or I'm never going to dance again, right? Because I can't do that. I have 2 left feet. And then holding that story and how that story feeds itself into other things that we do, and then not really realizing. So you're listening now and you're thinking about some of the stories that came from the past, and they do have something where you go, yeah, I have squelched that, or I did walk away from that because of something someone said. Then think about if that is a place of joy that you've been avoiding, and wouldn't it be lovely to find it again? But also the other piece of when the body is not in balance, we have these filters, and these filters aren't the true filters because they're the lens with which, however we're feeling, is coming through. So if it's fear or anxiety, you're going to be hearing that lens and making decisions. So to think about, is the lens clear, or does it need to be polished just a little bit, brought back into balance, so that then the lens is going to shift? And voice is such a great way, easily, because it's right there. You don't need anything extra to be able to just start playing and then seeing what happens.
Exactly. I mean, singing and movement, dance, these are all like joyous expressions of our human beingness. And I always encourage someone, even if they really are tonally challenged and have a hard time sort of figuring out how to move from one note to the next, which, by the way, I've never not been able to help someone work through that. I'm always like, oh, you're not monotone. And there's like a trust that happens, but it's so joyous. So even if you think temporarily, oh, I couldn't sing this in front of people, sing it in your living room at the top of your lungs while you're dancing. I mean, just experience that freedom. That just is such liberation. It's such celebration. It's so joyous. And I just, the thought of people depriving them of that joy, pierces my heart.
Right?
And
I think too, so we so innocently, we say things to other people, not realizing how it's going to be taken. And it may have been something we said that was misinterpreted, but then held on for a long time. And it's kind of like when you go to apologize to someone for something you did a long time ago that has eaten up your brain with regret for whatever. And then the person says, "You did what? I don't remember that." And here we've carried it like a suitcase for years, and it's not anywhere in their realm. And so, what is true? What is true, and what are we holding on to? Yeah.
Yeah, suitcase full of bricks right there. Yeah, it's
So if we
true.
go to the first tone that people make, can you describe what the moment is like when you're working with someone and you're helping them find that first voice?
Hmm. Are you speaking of like the first time they access their singing voice, their ability to sing, or just any sound?
Well, just if someone comes to work with you
Okay.
and you start into a conversation, how do you take those first few steps?
I see. Yeah. Always, whenever I start a session with someone, the voice, as we've been discussing, can be such a vulnerable entry point for people, right? There's a lot of concern and judgment around our own voice. So I first create a very safe space. I just want the person to feel very relaxed and to know that they don't have to access anything that they don't want to, but that we create a very safe space doing some breathing. We sort of regulate the nervous system because oftentimes they'll come with like, I don't know what's going to happen today, sort of energy. We just sort of calm things down and get them in feeling in a regulated place. And then generally I will start with having just them make some very simple sounds that are mostly breath and a little bit of voice, like, just like, like the wind sound. And then maybe, is a very relaxing, comforting sound. We speak it and sing it all the time. So let's try an feels good in the body. It's like a vocal sigh, like a release. And then we introduce a little humming. It's a sound we make most days anyway. So just sort of very slowly ease them into, oh, look at all these different colors and textures and sounds that your voice can make. And we move from that place. And then I generally will have them listen to a drone sound that I play. And a drone sound, for listeners who might not know, is generally an open interval, fourth or fifth. And it's lovely if you have like a cello, some acoustic instrument doing that drone sound, because you can really feel, and you can find these playlists on Spotify and all the platforms. You can really feel the vibration, the frequency of those strings. So I invite them to just sit there and sort of bathe in that drone sound, that frequency. And when they feel comfortable, inspired, or their voice or their body tells them to make, instructs them, okay, I think we can make sound now, they start to make sound along with the drone sound. And the reason that's so powerful is because the drone sound is vibrating pretty loudly. So I have it, at a pretty good volume for them to really physically, viscerally feel it in their physical body, and also to sort of just absorb the frequency of it. And something about that almost masking their voice a little bit at the beginning sort of is like a very sweet, gentle, small door entry point way into them, to even if they just want to match the tone or any of the harmonics or harmonies, right, that they're hearing with the drone sound. And then as I work with someone through weeks and weeks, they start really exploring the terrain of their voice. But that is a really sweet, gentle way to start.
I'm thinking, how simple is that? And we're doing that. We are doing that all the way through the day. But even when we talk to ourselves and we kind of give an opinion back about something, just as, putzing around in the kitchen, you are making those sounds already. But how freeing to be able to realize I could take it deeper. I could have it have a little bit more meaning than I'm just talking back to myself at the moment because nobody's here.
Right. There's something really sweet and magical about hearing your own voice, just being in a room with yourself and hearing your own voice. And that's whether you're speaking something out loud, an affirmation, or, hopefully a positive thought. But we all know that that's not always the case. But just hearing your own voice, I mean, it is the instrument that you carry with you at all times. It's the instrument. It's something inside your body that is vibrating, that's creating frequency and sound. How like that's amazing. And then when we realize that making certain sounds, or even sounding certain syllables, like, meditation, yoga, Sanskrit syllables, they sort of carry an energy, like a frequency, a message. And you don't even sometimes have to know what that means or what the mantra means, but there's an effect that you can feel. I mean, that's amazing that we have that ability. We have an instrument with us at all times. We're all play this instrument, Of course, there are people that don't have access to that or in the same way, but you can always make the vibration, the feeling of sound in your throat and feel it in your body, whether it's, an externally pleasing sound to you or not. There's something about that vibration living in your body that I just think is so powerful.
I'm just looking at where we were going to send the conversation next, which is the voice as medicine. And realizing that's there, and you just beautifully segue into it. But how empowering is it to know that you don't have to go anywhere to have that medicine of your voice right there at your fingertips anytime you want to use it. And it could be that awe, because as you were just doing that big sigh, I kind of could just feel it. And I was listening to you. I wasn't even saying it, but it was going down into my toes and resonating there. And how incredible is it? We don't have to look anywhere for anything extra because we were already given it.
Right. I say this all the time, even in energy work and spiritual coaching. Everything that we need, we have within us. And that's like physically and metaphysically. So the voice is just one really beautiful, unique example of that. You carry it wherever you go. I'm in the airport. I'm in the grocery lines, taking a little longer. I'm in traffic. I am humming like you cannot believe, to just keep things, because when we make those sounds, historically we've made them because we're either just like happily playing in a sandbox, or we're doing something that pleases us, something that feels good. And making that sound sort of recreates the feeling in our body of, oh, I'm happy. Oh, I'm relaxed. Oh, I'm calm. Oh, I'm joyful. Oh, this really pleases me. Oh, I love the flavor of that, peach cobbler, whatever, so like there are sounds that we inherently make, even a shush sound, like that we would rock a baby with, to sleep, just a shh, just that sound. We're not shushing to be telling you to be quiet. We're just like, oh, what a comforting sound that is. No wonder why babies fall asleep to that. It's emulating, right, the sound that we hear in utero of the mother's heartbeat. And it's kind of, there's just something so organic and peaceful.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I'm thinking now, as people are listening, as you go about the day, if you start to pay attention to the sounds that come out and where you have enough air and where you don't have enough air, where is it telling you that that's open and free and something else is constricted and held back, or in some way not able to be expressed, and start to follow the waves of the day, I guess is the best way to say that. Lovely way to be able to think about what's possible.
Starting to notice. It's really, that's just a great place to just starting to notice. How does it feel? Where am I feeling it? Am I taking beautiful, life affirming deep breaths?
Yeah. So if someone was to come to work with you, you were talking across several sessions, what's kind of like the pathway that people go on? I'm really curious as people start to discover. I mean, obviously everybody's going to have their own timeline of how things go based on where they're at, but what's kind of a typical experience that you could share?
Sure. I'm thinking of one client in particular that came knowing, the phrase vocal empowerment, And I think everyone may have a different interpretation of what that is. And probably it's all of those things. But there are people who come expressly because they want to learn to sing or to be, to become a better singer and to understand the principles, right, of music and airflow and how we strengthen the muscle. But there are often people that come that are disconnected from their voice, or they're just curious about, I feel like something's stuck in here and I want to figure out what that is. And I oftentimes, when clients come with that, when it's more of an energy block, maybe, right? Something that's not processed in the body, we start really slowly with some of the tools that I already shared and conversation. Tell me about when you were you ever told anything about your voice? Was there any judgment about your voice? Do you remember any stories from your childhood, something that would give us a little bit of information about why you silenced yourself, or why you felt like you had to be silent or couldn't express your thoughts or feelings or whatever it is? And everyone has a story, if not five, places that we could sort of pull from. And then I kind of go down an energetic path of like doing some energy clearing with the chakras, using sound to clear the chakras that may be related to some of the beliefs and stories that they're holding on to. And it's a process. Like, I have someone coming, and we do less of that now, but there are times when she comes in and she's like, yeah, I'm going to need I'm going to need a reboot, and then, so it's really fascinating, because I think once people do some of this exploration, some of this work, this connecting with their voice, they realize what an easy and powerful tool it is. And they are more in tune with when it's a little off, or when they're feeling something that's not quite flowing, energetically, whether they're, if their chi feels a little stuck somewhere, or they're feeling lethargic, or they're feeling upset about something. We just kind of work with the sounds, with the energy chakras, clearing them. And then we move into creating some sound. I even have some people who have trouble. This has been fascinating. In the last year, I've had 2 different male clients who have come, and they do have trouble hearing the sound and matching the sound, right? So there's some kind of a disconnect, right? From what they hear is not what they can express or match initially. And they actually, I'm a piano player, so they actually have gone up to the piano and sort of held on to the soundboard of the piano, and they're able to match it much more easily. So that has been
body.
Yeah. So that's been a really interesting, and that just sort of happened. One person was like, I'm just going to get a little closer to the piano to kind of hear it, because he was just like, he was told as a youngster, I think by his father, like, oh, you can't sing to save your life or whatever, something along those lines. And he just kind of inched closer to the piano, and we had developed trust. We had been sort of working together for a few sessions, and he just kind of held, just kind of reached over and held it. And then we noticed that he was able to access the pitch and replicate it in his vocal cords with his muscle and his body. We were like, what? So that was one of those moments that I didn't even expect. It wasn't part of my training, but as soon as it happened, it was so cool. And I've used it since with other clients.
Yeah. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It never occurred to me, really, because if you think about all the dissonance that goes on between all the other sounds that are out there, the frequency waves of the EMFs, etc., it never occurred to me that you'd want to embody the vibration of the sound to find the sound. It's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
The other thing that I'm thinking about, which I just think is so amazing, is so many people feel disempowered, right? Their health is confined to schedules of other people, tests and advice and all these other things. it makes it really hard to live because you've got all this other stuff going on.
External input. Yeah.
Yeah. But to know that you could go in for a vocal session and you can be empowered and you can stand in your power and you can find it by holding on to a keyboard and feeling that frequency come in that you have not been able to locate. How powerful that is for the healing journey.
Mm.
And
Absolutely.
And a lot of times too with cancer, right? Well, we don't want you to take these supplements. We don't want you to do this, that, or the next thing because we don't want it to counteract with whatever treatments that we're going to be doing. I chose cancer, but it could be other things too.
Yeah, sure.
But how empowering is it? You can go and sing your heart out if you want. And no one can touch that. That is yours. And you can find your power within that. And if it's just stand there and scream because that's where you feel like it because of all the angst that you're in. It's so beautiful. The space is there, but pretty soon that is going to turn to that ah. And then you can find that resonance where you go, yeah, this is me now.
Yeah, it's there. It's there for each of us. Wherever we are on a healing journey, on any healing journey, physical or emotional, all of the aspects. Wherever we are in that journey, your voice is always there to show you something, to point you in the direction of something, or to free something, and allowing it. And it's so our bodies, like I said, right, energetically and physically, our bodies are so intelligent. If we just give it a chance, if we just sort of hand over control and release and let go and just be like, okay, voice, I'm going to invite you to express whatever it is you want to express right now. I encourage people. So I do these healings, these workshops with Duke Cancer Center patients, right? So local cancer center patients, their caregivers. I've started doing them for free with the Durham VA as well. So the veterans just did the call yesterday, and every time there's more people on it. And and in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't know, some people might not get this, but immediately they get it and immediately they participate and they can feel the effects of it, because using your voice and freeing your voice, allowing your voice to make sound in whatever way feels good and pleasing in your body is just so empowering and feels so good anyway. And then when you start to realize that certain frequencies that you make with your voice can have an even deeper, more profound effect, it just puts so much agency, so much sovereignty in your hands, right? It just gives you back, here you go. This is your exploration. And I have people, if they have a recovering from a shoulder surgery, I just say, okay, so when you're listening to this drone sound, when you start to use your voice, I want you to invite your shoulder to speak. So just say to your shoulder, like, oh yeah, I get it. You just had this surgery, and I know, yes, the mobility is a little rough in your, so I'm just, what would you like to say? What do you want me to know? Sure enough, they do something wild or not. And afterwards they're like, yeah, it feels better. I feel like it's a little more relaxed. It's a little freer. So it's wild. Frequency is wild. Our voices as transmitters of frequency, our bodies as frequency. Like there's so much that is being discovered and being supported even by science, by research, that all of these things have a profound impact on how we experience life and how we create our own health and vitality.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Okay. I'm really interested now in the work that you're doing with those two projects. So that'll be, I know, a deep dive when we get to meet in person. Yeah. Let's turn the lens over to Marathon Jam and what you'll be bringing to Marathon Jam. Do you want to describe a little bit what people can expect?
Sure. I'm actually, the workshop series that I facilitate with those two groups is actually what I'm going to be facilitating with Marathon Jam. And we go through a process of grounding and, sort of creating the safe space individually and collectively. We start accessing some very simple sounds. And then we move into freer sound, potentially using a drone sound. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do that yet. We do, we make funny sounds and funny faces. We access the 5-year-old within us. We've all got that little silly, toddler, that we sometimes forget. So, we just make some silly faces and sounds and move our bodies and just kind of free ourselves a little bit. We will do it's like 15 to 17 minute, chakra, astral body, energy body, emotional body chakra clearing. So the 7 chakras, and we clear those with different sounds on the way up and the way down. And then I move generally into moving body again, because that process of chakra clearing can be a little heady, a little out of body. So we get back into our bodies and move around a little bit to a song. I generally choose a very upbeat, exuberant song, sometimes world music. And then we move into free writing, I call it, which is about 10 minutes of, you've cleared all of this energy, you've opened up to your voice, you've freed some space, you're in more in coherence with who you really are, right? Your true essence and your intuitive, wise voice. And so I invite people to just free write, pen to page, without stopping and without criticizing or editing or censoring, and just free write, because that is the moment where they're so clear, and if they've been going through the process, they realize there's so much that they have to say, and that's where inner voice becomes outer voice, external voice. And that's how they learn how to connect their energy and their voice so that they are empowered to speak their truth, to advocate for themselves, to set boundaries, to pursue their purpose and mission, whatever it is that they need to sort of get up and out and share with the world, or even like downloading some wisdom about their own health or where they are in their journey, or getting insights. It's all in there. It's all accessible, but sometimes we have to clear a few things. Sometimes we have to unlock some doors. Sometimes we have to break down some walls, and it happens slowly and gently with your own voice. It's a very gentle but very powerful process.
I appreciate what you're saying with, you had iterated about being able to go to your shoulder and what do you want to say? What would you like me to know? Or having that conversation of, thank you so much for all the service you have given me. I so appreciate that even when you haven't felt as good as you'd like to, you still provide a way for me to be able to do the things I love to do. And having that dialogue, that openness, such an incredible, a different way to listen, but a different way also to express.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there is such power in taking a moment, and every day I say some gratitudes, and I say sort of a morning and evening prayer, if you will, and something that I just sort of between me and the universe. And I always show gratitude for the use of my limbs and the use of my senses, because it's how I make it experience this fascinating, beautiful adventure. And I think not taking that for granted is really important. Yeah. So talking to the body, expressing, and just honoring where your body is. And if your body needs rest, take the rest. Our bodies are always telling us something. We just have to tune in and listen. We have to just train ourselves to listen and really be able to deliver on whatever it is the body needs.
Now, as we go through Marathon Jam, I just thought I'd paint a little bit of a picture for people if they didn't get a chance to experience it last year. But we spend the day weaving in and out of the different facilitators. And so they have an opportunity to work with you, with the way you work with sound and with movement. And then they come around to where Colin and I will be. We'll be doing music and movement, but music coming out of a fiddle. So it'll be a little bit different that way. And specific protocol that we work with for unwinding trauma, building resiliency. And so we're working with the chakras similar to what you are, but we've added some art to it, some color, and then some very simple movement patterns.
Mm.
And then we have a couple other singers who are going to bring in some music as well. And each of them has a different way of bringing out and providing that space. The cool thing for all of us is together we build a community for a whole day where we just get to play and expand. So if we were to move our conversation over into belonging and community, you create that already with the one-on-one sessions with people, or if you're bringing in the group activities that you've been doing. You want to talk a little bit about how vocalizing in a situation like this brings about a sense of community in it.
Oh yeah. It's amazing. So when you're doing the work, individually, or if I'm working with an individual, there's a certain sort of path that we take, and it's beautiful, and it's healing, and it's important. When you do this in a group of people, I mean, about resonance, right? And the power of when energy is created, with 3 or more people, it becomes exponentially powerful and healing. And so doing this in a circle, in a community, allows people to not only connect to themselves, but to be able to connect to everyone else that's in that group in a pretty deep, meaningful, energetic way that sort of transcends words, I think. It's like an experience where like energies are coming together, and there's just this feeling of love and grace and compassion sort of takes over, and just starts to build on itself. It's an amazing feeling. Mm-hmm. I love it. And I love for people to experience it, because it's almost no words are necessary, but it's also, people experience it and they just feel closer and they feel connected, and people hug, and they're like, of course with consent, but people just feel more open, and they feel seen, and they feel heard, and they feel understood on some level and loved. Really, what I'm doing is facilitating, the transference of love and the expansion of love. That's how I look at it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. And we finish off with Marathon Jam with the Soup and Sing, which is musicians all gathering in a circle. Those of us who are not playing instruments, we're participating from the background or just being washed over with beautiful, incredible music from very talented musicians. So it's a wonderful day to finish the day off, sharing a meal with people, but also then just to be able to sit and soak in some more of the sounds, and being so open, those sounds can now wash in and out much easier than where we start at the beginning of the day. So it is a beautiful way to pull it all together.
Yeah, it is so true. I'm imagining, through all of the different facilitators and modalities and just the beautiful people that are bringing this event together, I am picturing, people's hearts just sort of opening, just kind of like, people sort of, like almost swan. Is it a swan dive? I don't know if that's what that's called, but, the front of the Titanic, Kate Winslet, just kind of just really opening to it and just sort of allowing it, as you say, to just sort of wash over them and to feel the power of music, which we already know is so impactful. Even just listening to music, right? Sort of affects brainwaves, changes mood. And then to be immersed in music live after having this beautiful day of connection and with self and others. Delicious.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. As we've listened to some very cool insights, I just want to invite everybody listening to think about their own voice now, and not just the one that speaks, but the one that feels, the one that hums when we're content, the one that tightens up when we're not saying something we think we should, the one that longs to be expressed. Your voice carries your story, and it carries your healing. This is an incredibly powerful tool that is already within you. You just need to know how to let it loose, or how to participate in something with others in a way to find your voice. Before we close, Karen, is there something that you want to share, maybe for getting people started if they haven't been doing anything? I know you said hum and use ah. Is there anything else that they might be able to do just around the house?
Sure. Yeah, this is a really beautiful way. I do first want to say that I clearly love this work, but I'm excited for the people who are listening to just start to step into this, this little, these baby steps of an experience with their voice in a new way. There's two that come to mind that I want to share, but I want to do you rev the engine. So this is a little bit of an exploration of the range of your voice in a very safe way. So I have people rev the engine and then I have them do a full blown siren sound, which for some people, especially introverts or people who are not used to making big sound, it's like, well, I can't do that. What? But it's really freeing. So revving the engine is something like yee, yee, yee. So I'm doing it in a lower part of my voice. And now I'm going to do mid yee, 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 yee. And then I'm going to go a little higher. Yee, 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 yee. And so it's just kind of warming up the vocal cords, right, in the different areas of the voice. And then I invite you to pull it all together and just, okay, here we are. Like if I have any sensory sensitivity people, lower the volume a little bit. Yeah. And that is meant to be a playful, like siren, like when you played with the ambulance or the fire truck when you were a little kid, or you ran around as if you were the fire truck. It's just so freeing and liberating and really fun. It's fun to make that sound and just to slide your voice up and down and see where it can go and how it feels in your body.
Love it. Love it. All right. And you said there was another one?
Okay. Well, the other one is, I don't know if I did this with you the night we were chatting, but a beautiful way to take care of your vocal cords and your tongue, which so often does not get stretched out, is to do this vocal exercise, which I learned actually from a singing teacher. It's called cow chewing cud. And the idea is, and because I really believe, like, I know that I've been talking about like it feels like weighty to think about, like your voice is a healing instrument. It's also here for your entertainment and your exploration. And it's fun. It's so fun to explore your voice and use your voice. And if people can sort of get into that headspace instead of this like terrified, confined, oh my gosh, who's watching and listening, right? It's just a really freeing thing. So cow chewing cud is extending your tongue as far as you can, obviously with not straining. And what this does is it encourages better blood flow to the base of your tongue, which never sees the light of day, right? Generally, and your vocal cords. So it's very healing. So if you've had a long day of speaking at an event, or if you've been singing and you want your voice to rest, here's how it goes. So you're moving your tongue out and left to right, side to side, creating this mwah sound, and open your jaw as wide as you can. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It's really fun. And it feels really good. Like there'll be a warming sensation in your throat after you do it. Most people I encourage, especially if they're not really comfortable with making funny sounds and faces in front of people, I say just do it in your bathroom in the mirror at night. Like it's ridiculous. And hopefully it makes you laugh, but it feels really good.
That's a great way to finish your day. And then, you just can't be serious about anything. For those people that have trouble letting that monkey mind go before they go to sleep.
Yeah. Just to do, imitate a cow. You'll be
beautiful.
You'll be relaxed and good to go.
Oh my goodness. Well, Karen, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and being vulnerable to express these exercises and show people the fun that they can have. It just, I've talked to lots of different people about voice through the podcast, the different series, but really, I think you've really brought it home that it is the medicine and it is accessible. And you don't require anybody else. It's there for you. And I appreciate that. because I think so much of our lives is out of our control. And this is a way to be able to stand rooted and say, I got this. And it's there. So thank you for shining a light that way.
Absolutely. Yeah. This is who you are. This is how you express. This is your unique sound. Let's use it. Let's explore it. Let's love it.
Mm-hmm. Let's love it.
Mm.
Yeah. If you feel called to explore your voice, movement, your healing in a supportive and creative space, we would love for you to join us for Marathon Jam on April the 18th, Healing Through Music and Movement. And again, you can go to marathonjam.org and check out the website. It is a free event, so we don't want any barriers for people being able to come and participate. So please come and join us. And this has been an experience that stepped you into a doorway, and a doorway to expression, belonging, and transformation. So as you finish your tea, your coffee, or your water today, you want to just carry forward some sweetness of your memories, the strength of your voice, and then the knowing that your expression matters. And there are people ready to help you find that way to express. And Karen, do you want to share how people can find you if they want to work with you?
Oh, sure. I do have my own website, KarenNovy.com, KarenNovy.com. And there's, different ways that you can work with me, both with voice and with coaching. And there's my business partner and I have a new website too, which features the work that I do, and that is yourodyssey.life. And we also have a podcast that we've been putting out for 2 years called Your Odyssey Podcast. And it's conversations about all things on the human journey. And so these are ways that people can start to just kind of get to know me better. And they can always reach out to me, support at KarenNovy.com. And I have a Calendly link on my website. People can book a free consult call if they want a little advice or a little direction or to connect in a deeper way.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
Sure.
All right. Your voice is your medicine. We invite you to go play a little bit. And until next time, we wish you well. And we hope that some humming or some singing is going to come out as you go about finishing off from this podcast. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thanks for having me, Michelle. Everyone take good care.
Thank you for listening to Be Well with Dr. Michelle Greenwell. There are a couple of resources I want to just point out. When you go to the website, greenwellcenter.com, you'll have a pop-up window. That pop-up gives you the top 8 easy stress releasers that you can use every day. That's something you can put beside your computer, the bathroom mirror, beside the bedside table. A great resource. Also, my YouTube channel. It is full of playlists with all kinds of different ways that you can activate energy and bring vitality into your day. You can find that when you go to YouTube at Michelle Greenwell. And last, if you're a Linktree person, Linktree, linktr.ee/Greenwell Center. That has all my resources in one spot. Those are for intricate little things that you can't get everywhere. And it's a wonderful way for me to be able to share all the different aspects of the kind of work I do. So thank you for listening. Be sure to drink that tea. And if you want to have the tea blend that was shared in the podcast today, then be sure to check out capebretontea.ca. Have a wonderful day.